They're up, they're down, they're over, and they're out. And football fans want to know why. Eagles, why? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Why Eagles Why, your weekly assessment of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm Dave Bontempo, along with Bill Gelman and Pete Amato. We welcome you to the episode. Please hit like and subscribe to be notified about future episodes. We break this show down into 4 quarters plus overtime. And as we break the huddle, guys, my question is, why were the Eagles able to suck everybody back in? People are back on board. Bill, what did they do?
They found a strength, is what they did, is they rethought who they had on the team. The strength of this team is the offensive line, and that has opened up a running game that has really been tearing up a storm these last several games. I mean, they rushed 50 times against the Saints on Sunday. And, you know, we're talking about a team like the first few, how many weeks were we talking where we say, you got to run the ball. Why aren't you running the ball? Now they can't stop running the ball. And you know, they have essentially a 3-headed monster in the backfield.
Hey, Pete, you know, the Eagles have scored 138 points in the last 4 games. And that is one thing that people are noticing that, what do you see that they're doing here?
They're making progress. And that, to me, like, obviously going into the season, everybody was talking about, okay, it's going to be a rebuilding year. And obviously when you jump into the season as a fan, you want to win. So your mindset kind of changed a little bit, but I think people are buying in because they're seeing that progress for like the first time all season. They're seeing that that they're getting better and better. And I think that's big because that shows you that they're doing something right. They have a plan. Also because the future of this team looks exciting now. When they were playing bad in the beginning of the season, everybody was kind of buying out because it was like, okay, now we have to get a new coach because this guy stinks, new quarterback, blah, blah, blah. And like, it's just going to set us back. But now they're seeing progress. They're seeing potential in the coaching staff. They're seeing potential in the quarterback, and they're seeing a dominant run game that could carry the team down the road.
Yeah, the Eagles with the best rushing offense in the NFC. Bill, what is Gelmans Gold this week?
I think you got to give it to number 1, Jalen Hurts. 3 touchdowns. He pretty much put the team on his back this week. Yeah, he didn't have a great passing game, but you know, if you put up 40 points, you really need a great passing game. 3 touchdowns, and just when it looked like the Saints were getting back in this game, he found his way into the end zone to get his 3rd touchdown of the day. You know, he's really showing leadership. Because think about it, this is his first full season starting in the NFL. Got a little taste last year, and it just so happens like he has the Saints number, it seems, because he had a really nice game against them last season too, I believe.
Yeah, that was his first game ever as a starter, and they won. That was their last home win until they just got one here. And a little bit of side kudos to Nick Sirianni with a good challenge on Hurts' touchdown that made it 14-0. Initially not ruled a touchdown. He threw the flag appropriately so, and the touchdown ensued. Well, let's take a look at the Eagles-Giants game coming up. That's going to be in the second quarter. Second quarter of Why Eagles Why. The Eagles 5-6, 2 consecutive big victories. Now they go in to MetLife Stadium to play the Giants. Pete, they could be 500 coming out of there. And you mentioned it early about this offensive line for the Eagles doing a great job.
Yeah, I think that's the most valuable players of this team right now. They are so dominant you call them the nasty boys, I guess you can call them, with what Sirianni said in post game. But I'm impressed with this offensive line. We've talked about in the past that if they can get healthy, they've shown that each of them have shown that they're good. And the Landon Dickerson seems like a great pickup. And if he stays healthy, he seems dominant. You see Jordan Mailata throwing players around like they're little kids with one hand. Like these guys are so dominant. And Kelsey doing his thing where he's just basically running up the field into the second part of the field like it's nothing. I mean, this offensive line looks so dominant right now, and I think they're carrying this team on their back. They're helping Jalen Hurts by giving him time in the passing game, and obviously they're making it possible for the Eagles to run the ball 50 times like they did and run it dominantly. And that's what they're doing. They're just dominating, and they're making it look easy, and it's fun to watch. I always like watching the big guys up front because I never think they get enough credit. So.
Well, power football really has been coming into vogue with the Eagles over the last several weeks. Bill, do you think that's a continuing theme? Do you think the Giants try to take that away? What is your overview of the Eagles-Giants game?
I think it's if the Eagles put their foot on the gas and don't let off, this game is not even going to be close. The Giants just don't look like a strong team. They're turnover prone, and they haven't been healthy all season. They showed me so little last night. I was asleep by halftime. But there's a couple issues with the Eagles. Is there Jordan Howard? Early injury report is he may not play this Sunday. So that's one key cog of the running game that's out of the equation. You have a receiving core that seems to be not consistent. You have Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith are both catching passes, but I feel like they could use more people catching the ball to balance the run pass game a little more, even though the running game's working so well. But if the running game doesn't get off to a quick start, do you have a fallback plan? Even if it's a play action game, a short passing game, you need to have that other segment of the offense clicking. So and it's also the NFC East, and these NFC East games get ugly at times. Just like if a matchup looks like it's leaning heavily one way on paper, we never know if one team is just going to do something stupid. We have these things called Miracle at the Meadowlands, which you wrote about in the post for Play NJ, Dave. So it's these games, you never know what's going to happen in them.
They have broken the Giants' heart several times in those games. Unbelievable, crazy finishes. And Bill, I remember one of these early weeks. Remember, your Gelmans Gold was 3. That was the amount of times they had run the ball. Now we're seeing 50, and they have come into a totally different offensive scheme, which is great. And Pete, as you look at this game, what do you think? Bill talked about the division game, something a little different usually comes up. What do you think that something a little different might be in a game like this?
It's just, I think the Giants and the Eagles, whether it's any division game, I think the teams play a little harder. I think, like you said, if these games turn ugly, I think the players take it personal when they're playing division teams. And I think the Giants still have it out for us since last year when we lost that game and they didn't make the playoffs. But I just think we'll see. I mean, if the Giants keep showing that they're bad, I mean, like if they keep getting worse, which is what it looks like they're doing, they're just a boring team. They really have nothing to show. The Eagles should win this game handily, but you never know with these division games. You really don't. I mean, if the Eagles can just keep playing smash mouth football, we shouldn't have a problem with this team. But you never know. It's a division game. they know each other. They play each other 2 times a year. The coaching staff knows each other, and we'll see. Maybe the Giants coaching staff will put together a better game plan. That's the only thing I can see the Giants maybe getting close.
What's going on with the Eagles in the NFC East? And now we get ready for our run down the stretch. We'll look at that in the third quarter. Why Eagles? Why? Why don't we talk about the home stretch? Because now it means something. The Eagles are 5-6, and finally with the schedule, the NFC East will play each other a lot. The Eagles have 2 games against Washington, 2 against the Giants, 1 against the Jets, and 1 against the Cowboys to wrap it up. I'm looking at that schedule. I'm seeing 4 wins between now and the end of the year as we set it up. Pete, how many wins in your crystal ball when you look at this team the rest of the year?
I'm seeing 3 wins. I think they'll go 3-3. I think they'll split with the Giants. I think they'll split with Washington. And I think they're going to lose to the Cowboys. The only thing I can see them maybe winning for if the Cowboys are already clinched, but I still think you never know with the division games. Washington could win both games. The way that they're playing pretty good right now. And so I'm going 3-3. They'll probably finish the season 8-9.
All right. How about you, Bill? Professor Gelman, what is your projection? We have 6 games left for the Eagles. What do you think?
If I'm going to be more in line with you, I'm going to go with 4-2 the rest of the way. I see them sweeping the Giants. Obviously, they're going to beat the Jets. I see a split with Washington. And then the asterisk will be the Dallas game because we don't know what Dallas is going to be playing for. On paper, Dallas should have the division clinched by then, but Dallas seems to keep stepping in in a rabbit hole. Just when they think they can pull away, they lose to Denver, and they forgot who did they play on Sunday? Whoever they played on Sunday, they couldn't even score a touchdown.
Kansas City Chiefs, and
right. Who didn't even
that was a big one for the FanDuel bettors. I was one of them. I took only bet $10, thank goodness, for every team in the NFL to score a touchdown. I was worried about Seattle, Detroit, all these other teams. I'm not worried about the Cowboys at all. They don't get the touchdown, and I don't cash that ticket, and I still can't believe that happened. So, yeah, I mean, we never know in the NFL.
Yeah,
so the Cowboys are doing what the Cowboys do. I mean, they always come up short. I mean, they've done it since.
Just when you think they have something won, and we start praising them, they lose 2 out of 3 games, and it's just So it's the Cowboys could keep doing things the Cowboys way, and suddenly hey, maybe the Eagles are in the NFC East. In a dream world, are contending for the NFC East crown. I don't see it happening.
So just go,
year, but hey,
just go for it. Say 5-1. 5-1, then you should.
No, I can't go 5-1 because it's I'm not. I got 1 foot in the playoff door right now. I'm not
1 foot in the playoff door.
Oh wow, okay.
So I'm not all in on this team yet. I need to see consistency. If they beat the Giants and beat the Jets, then that'll get me more behind this team. I really like what I've seen these last couple of weeks, but because of how they played the first half, the beginning of the season, and because they haven't finished games, that's why I'm not all in on them being a playoff team yet. I have high hopes, but not all in yet.
And to take that one step further, who do they have to dislodge now? San Francisco moved in just ahead of them. Minnesota moved in just ahead of them, but they did leapfrog the Carolina Panthers because Washington beat them, and they would have a tiebreaker if they ended up tied with New Orleans. The teams don't have the same amount of games because the Eagles, don't have haven't had their bye yet, but Pete, what I find interesting about this is that when you look back from where the discussion on this team was about a month ago, remember we had Katie Kohler on here saying, Detroit couldn't beat the Philadelphia Catholic League, and that's where the Eagles were then at that point. And now people are actually thinking December football matters for this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and that's what's so great about being a fan. You never know. The way the matchup set up, the way that the schedule was set up this year, we did see it. Even when they were playing bad, we talked about that they could almost sweep at the end of the season. Besides the Dallas game, I mean, we talked about that even when they were losing. We talked about the original 6.5 games, the 6.5 wins that the odds maker had in the beginning of the season. I think all three of us said they were probably going to get over that. So even that's even when they were losing. So now they're winning. So now people are immediately thinking playoffs. I'm not thinking playoffs. I'm thinking I like seeing this team get better and better, and then go. It'll show some potential, and then give you a little bit of momentum into next season. But hey, man, if they make the playoffs, I'll take that.
Remember, we spoke about the playoffs on this show when they were 4-6. So that does come to fruition. We were on that very early. But what do you think about the meaningful December football for the Eagles? We weren't always sure we would see that back in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, part of me is a little shocked based on what we saw at the beginning of the season. If we base on the performance they had in Las Vegas and against the Cowboys, I mean, there's weeks this team just wasn't there. And I think a lot of it has to do with having a very young coaching staff, with none of them having head coaching experiences. I was looking at their defensive coordinator during the game on Sunday. I was looking at his card of plays for the defense. It was like something he could fit in his pocket. So it's because the staff is learning on the go and planting flowers. I forget what Sirianni, there was a flower reference Sirianni used.
Something about the roots and watering flowers. I don't know.
Yeah. So the team is starting to bloom.
Hey, you know what? On the opposite weather spectrum, I think it's great. It's the holidays, it's Christmas. You're all excited about the shopping and the hustle and the bustle and the football games that matter. People are looking forward to Sunday and looking forward to this Giants game. And can we sweep? And in the last 2 weeks with these victories over Denver and New Orleans, Pete, we're seeing and we're hearing people take a different tune about how they're approaching the rest of this year.
Yeah, they're getting at first, of course, it was like I said, beginning out, it's rebuilding. We're just rebuilding. It's okay.
Yeah.
But now people are getting their hopes up. So they're leaving a little chance that they could be let down. I think that's one thing in the beginning of the season. Everybody was kind of holding back because they didn't want to be let down. They were like, okay, it's going to be a rebuilding year. It's young coaching staff, young players. But now they're saying, okay, this team can be successful. This coaching staff can be successful. So I think they're saying, oh, maybe we can go to the next level with this team. Maybe we can make the playoffs with this team. So I think it's just like it just provides more hope. And when there's more hope, watching football with a little more hope makes it more fun to watch anyway.
I may give it the supermarket test this weekend, Bill. When the Eagles have been good, if you ever had to dash out and get something, go during an Eagles game. There'll be nobody in the supermarket. This year during the games, there have been people in the supermarket, but I think those supermarkets might be empty this week now with the Giants game. I guess you notice it too, Bill, right? A lot more excitement, people talking about the team. I'm planning my day now around this game.
Yeah. I know. I have I do my supermarket shopping. I just pull up to the front. They put it in the trunk for me because I don't like dealing with the crowds at the supermarket. But I always schedule the pickup either before the game or after the game. No, during the game.
All right. Yeah, that's a good point as we look forward to it. The Eagles have generated excitement. A lot of people back in, and we'll talk about more in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, why Eagles, why? Let's talk about games we want to watch this week. Pete, what is the game of the week?
We're going to go with the toilet bowl game of the week, the New York Jets versus the Houston Texans.
Oh, that's can't miss.
Can't miss football. So you got to watch that one. And I'm just gonna do a Pete's pick for this one, just because why not? I had trouble thinking about this one, but then I saw South Jersey native Joe Flacco, starting quarterback for the Jets. The Jets are getting 2.5 points. I'm going with the Jets.
Hey, Flacco's been pretty steady. Even when he played, he didn't really make any mistakes. Could be a good spot for a player like him. And the Jets have disappointed. The Texans just beat the Tennessee Titans. Shows you that in any Sunday, anything can happen. Bill, what's your game of the week?
I think my game of the week is going to be a game of the week for a lot of people. Packers, Rams, the line's pretty much even. I think it's like a 1-point spread right now. But what's interesting about this game is just when you think a team is stepping up and jumping out in front of them, trying to take control of the NFC to get that number 1 seed, they lose. I mean, the Packers did it to the against the Vikings on Sunday. The Rams had a couple doozies, including one on national TV against the 49ers. So I'm curious who's going to step up in this one. I got to go with the Rams to win this one flat out because they have too many weapons. And if they play their game, they should win this. I don't think Brett Favre. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is 100% right now.
I don't think Brett Favre was either last week.
No,
wherever he was.
Yeah,
where is he these days? So it's I that's really gonna I think that game is really going to be key to the NFC playoff race. And I still like the Rams and the Cardinals as the top 2 teams in the conference right now. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, the Cardinals are still dealing with some serious injuries on the offensive side of the ball. So once they get healthy, I think it's their conference to lose. Because I praised them a few weeks back that they're just too strong on both sides of the ball when they're healthy.
Yeah, they did well with backup Colt McCoy. Remember him last year? We were talking about him. And, they won with him in Seattle last week, a very solid team. I've been on the Patriots since the Dallas game. They were 2-4 then. I played them every week since. What a game. They're playing the Titans. Now, the Titans, of course, coached by Mike Vrabel, who used to play for Bill Belichick. He's a genius like Belichick. The Titans are coming off. This is an angry game for them because they were beaten by the Texans. But the Patriots are home. I'm going to play this 2 different ways because the line shot up to 5.5, which is a lot. But I think myself, I'm going to tease this down to 2.5 points and play. And then the regular line, I'll make I'll pick the Patriots very slightly at 5.5. That's a big number, and that's right where it would be, I think. But that to me is a great game and a team that we're following. The Patriots have been overachieving. Is this the week they come down? Hey, we're going to find out. And that's our fourth quarter report before the week's schedule. It's overtime on Why Eagles Why. Parting shots and thoughts on the Eagles-Giants game. I'm seeing a number like Eagles 31-19. How about you, Pete, for the Eagles? How about you, Pete? What are you seeing in this game?
Seeing a little bit closer. I still think the Eagles will win. Going with 24-17 Eagles.
All right. And then that would put them to 500 if they do that. How about you, Bill?
I'm going to go 28-13 Eagles, and I better be right because I live with a Giants fan who makes me eat my words, every time the Giants perform better than the Eagles. You want an example? Every time I brag about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, I get, "Oh yeah, how many rings does your team have?" And then it shows me.
And that's, but that's when you throw the Herman Edwards thing in there, right?
Yeah, I always forget though.
The miracle at those Meadowlands. It is a great rivalry. NFL Films calls it the number one rivalry in football. Only 2 games separating them, with the Eagles favored. So we cannot wait for this game. And how about you, Pete? Parting shots on things you've seen, not only with this game, but with the comparison with the last Eagles quarterback and the current Eagles quarterback.
Yeah, I know a lot of Eagles fans probably won't admit that they're looking at Carson Wentz stats, kind of like looking back at the X, but they're looking. You guys are looking. I'm looking. And I actually am pretty impressed with how even it is right now. As far as passing yards, Carson Wentz has about 200 more passing yards. Obviously, with rushing, it's not even close. Carson Wentz has 18 passing touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He's having a really good season actually right now. After the first couple of games, he was a little slow, but I do keep checking on it. I'm a big Carson Wentz fan. I'm kind of like, I kind of follow his career a bit, and also we have a page at Eagles.com, and I will leave that in the link below. Along with there's a lot of some fun Thanksgiving promos. A lot of the sports books around the league are doing, and promos this weekend. So I will also leave a link below in the description, so you can check out any of those promos from the top sports books in the area.
When you talk about looking back at the X's, in this case, it's like the X's, it worked out well for both of them because Jalen Hurts is blossoming, and Carson Wentz under Frank Reich being controlled, helped by Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. So Absolutely. He's playing a more managed game. And you saw what the Colts did last week to the Bills, 41-16 or 41-15. So a big win for Indianapolis. Well, that's our episode this week. Thanks for joining us. For Bill Gelman and for Pete Amato, this is Dave Bontempo saying thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time on Why Eagles Why.